At its greatest extent, it was the largest empire in the history of the ancient world. Its army was the most powerful force that anyone had ever seen. And if not for a series of unfortunate events, it may very well have conquered all of Europe, North Africa, and Southwest Asia. This was Persia. But how did they become the most dominant force in history? The origins of the Persian Empire can be traced back to the kingdom of Anshan, located in what is now Iran. The kingdom was originally a small and insignificant state, but over time, it grew in power and influence. Under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, the kingdom expanded its territory and established control over the nearby Median Empire, which had previously dominated the region. This victory was crucial because it gave Persia access to new resources and allies, propelling them onto the path of becoming an empire. However, despite this progress, Persia still faced significant challenges. Internal strife and external conflicts threatened the stability of their newly acquired lands. In fact, there were multiple rebellions by subject states in the first half of the 6th century BC. This period of instability and uncertainty presented a significant obstacle to the consolidation of Persian power. It tested the strength and resilience of the empire, forcing its leaders to employ every tactic at their disposal to maintain control. Despite these challenges, Persia's leaders remained steadfast in their pursuit of dominance. They implemented innovative military strategies and administrative reforms that allowed them to quell rebellions, expand their territory, and secure their position as a major player in the ancient world. Perhaps the most important step towards establishing dominance was the adoption of the royal road. This road system connected the far reaches of the empire, facilitating the efficient movement of troops and resources. It also played a vital role in the empire's ability to communicate effectively, ensuring that the central government could respond quickly to any potential threats. But the real key to Persia's success was its people. Unlike many other empires before it, Persia was able to integrate diverse populations into a single, cohesive whole. This was achieved through a combination of military conquest, diplomatic marriages, and cultural exchange. By adopting a policy of religious tolerance and respecting local customs, Persia was able to maintain stability and prevent large-scale rebellions. But even with all of these advantages, Persia still faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. The empire's expansion into the west brought them into conflict with the mighty Assyrian Empire. The Assyrians were known for their brutality and military prowess, and they proved to be a formidable opponent for the Persians. Despite these setbacks, Persia's leaders refused to give up. They continued to innovate and adapt, developing new tactics and strategies to overcome their enemies. Eventually, their efforts paid off and Persia emerged victorious, expanding its territory and solidifying its position as a major power in the region. However, the true test of their strength would come later when they faced off against the Greeks. The Greeks were a fierce and determined people who had successfully defended their homeland against the mighty Macedonian Empire just a generation prior. But no one expected the defense to last long. When the Persians invaded Greece in 492 BC, they were met with fierce resistance from the Greek city-states. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Greeks fought bravely and inflicted heavy casualties on the Persian army. This defeat forced the Persians to regroup and reevaluate their strategy. Rather than attempting a direct assault on Greece, they opted for a more diplomatic approach, forming alliances with some of the smaller Greek city-states and attempting to isolate the Hellenic League. However, this strategy proved to be ineffective as the Hellenic League remained steadfast in their refusal to submit to Persian rule. Undeterred, the Persians prepared for a second invasion, mustering an army that was even larger and more powerful than before. This force, led by the elite immortals and complemented by the might of the cavalry, overwhelmed the numerically inferior Greek army. As a result, several Greek cities fell to the Persians, while others were forced to flee. With the Greek resistance crumbling before them, the Persians advanced deeper into the Peloponnese, conquering city after city and consolidating their control over the region. Yet despite their military victories, the Persians failed to achieve their ultimate goal of dominating Greece. The Battle of Marathon proved to be a turning point in the conflict, marking the end of Persia's westward expansion. While the Persians had successfully conquered vast territories, their failure to subdue the Greeks had a profound impact on the course of history. It prevented them from gaining access to the Mediterranean Sea and ultimately limited their ability to project power beyond their immediate vicinity. Nevertheless, despite this setback, the Persian Empire continued to thrive, flourishing for centuries as one of the most influential and prosperous empires of the ancient world. Their legacy lived on, inspiring awe and wonder in those who studied their rise to prominence. Cyrus the Great is widely regarded as the founder of the Achaemenid Empire, which at its peak stretched from Central Asia to the Middle East. His military campaigns and strategic alliances laid the foundation for the empire's early successes, allowing them to expand rapidly and establish control over vast territories. Under his rule, the empire enjoyed a golden age of prosperity and cultural exchange, setting the stage for future generations to build upon. After Cyrus's death, his son Cambyses too took the throne and continued the tradition of military conquest and territorial expansion. He led campaigns into Egypt and North Africa, further increasing the size and scope of the empire. However, it was under Darius I that the Achaemenid Empire reached its greatest extent. He implemented a series of administrative reforms that helped to stabilize and strengthen the empire, allowing him to focus on military campaigns aimed at securing its borders and projecting power beyond its immediate vicinity. Darius's military campaigns were successful, and he is credited with conquering much of modern-day Turkey, as well as parts of Central Asia and the Middle East. His empire stretched from the Balkans in the west to the Indus River in the east, making it the largest empire in the ancient world. Darius's successors continued to maintain the empire's stability and territorial integrity, although they faced numerous challenges from internal rebellions to external threats from rival powers such as the Greeks. Despite these challenges, the Achaemenid Empire remained a formidable force throughout the ancient world, leaving behind a legacy that inspired awe and wonder in those who studied its rise to prominence. During its reign, the Achaemenid Empire boasted a well-organized and efficient administration, which played a crucial role in maintaining stability and order across its vast territories. Darius I implemented a series of administrative reforms that helped to centralize power and ensure the smooth functioning of the empire. He divided his vast domain into 20 provinces, each governed by a satrap, a term often translated as governor or viceroy, who was responsible for collecting taxes, maintaining law and order, and defending the empire's borders. To facilitate communication and trade across such a vast empire, Darius I developed an extensive road network known as the Royal Road. This network of roads enabled the quick and efficient movement of troops and officials throughout the empire, helping to maintain stability and unity. Additionally, the Royal Road facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas between different regions, contributing to the cultural and economic prosperity of the empire. Furthermore, the Achaemenid Empire was home to a diverse population that included people from many different cultures and backgrounds. Despite this diversity, the empire was able to maintain social order and stability through a combination of military force, administrative efficiency, and a policy of religious tolerance. The empire's military strength was a critical factor in its ability to maintain order and quell rebellions. The Achaemenid army was renowned for its size and discipline, and it played a key role in expanding and defending the empire's borders. However, the army's effectiveness was not solely based on brute force, but also on the implementation of innovative military tactics and strategies that allowed them to defeat larger and more powerful armies. For example, the Immortals, an elite unit of soldiers who were known for their exceptional skills and unwavering discipline, were instrumental in securing the empire's borders and putting down rebellions. The introduction of composite bows and other advanced weaponry also contributed to the army's effectiveness. However, it was perhaps the empire's commitment to religious tolerance that set it apart from other empires of the ancient world. The Achaemenids recognized the diversity of their population and respected the different religions and customs of the people they ruled over. This policy of tolerance helped to prevent large-scale rebellions and fostered a sense of unity among the diverse peoples of the empire. Despite its many achievements and contributions to the ancient world, the Achaemenid Empire eventually declined and fell due to a combination of factors. Internal rebellions, external threats from rival powers, and the vast size and complexity of the empire itself all contributed to its eventual collapse. However, the empire's legacy lived on, inspiring awe and wonder in those who studied its rise to prominence. The Achaemenid Empire remains an important subject of study for historians and archaeologists today, and its contributions to the ancient world continue to be celebrated and admired. Now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Which fact about the Persian Empire impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out another 6.